Hi, welcome to the e-learning portal of Rajganj College. Without any prologue, I shall start my session, which is meant for my second semester students. And today I am going to discuss Hunger by Jayanta Mahapatra, which is an Indian English poem, as you know. But before we move on to the topic, I would love it if my students have the text with them while they stream the video. Mahapatra deals with the daily tragedies of life. The common themes are poverty, hunger, starvation, sexual exploitations. This poem is also dealing with similar themes. As he mentions somewhere that his roots lies in the rural community, and as he is a Indian poet who is writing in English, so his poem essentially deals with Indian themes. And for him who is born in Orissa, his poem deals with the lives in Orissa, the lives, the happenings, in his surroundings. Okay. So somewhere he also mentions that this poem is based on a true incident. Now let me read out the first two stanzas of this poem, and then I am coming to the lecture. It was hard to believe the flesh was heavy on my back. The fisherman said, "Will you have her?" carelessly trailing his nets and his nerves, as though his words sanctified the purpose with which he faced himself. I saw his white moon thrash his eyes. I followed him across the sprawling sands, my mind thumping in the flesh's sleep. Hope lay perhaps in burning the house I lived in. Silence gripped my sleeps, his body clawed at the froth his old nets had only dragged up from the seas. So let me turn this camera to this side, and please have a look at the text. Here we go. The poem unfolds in 4 dramatic scenes, and as you can see, this is handwritten because I left my book at Siliguri. Anyway, this is needless to say that hunger here has a twofold meaning. The first one, what we find in the first stanza, is hunger which is one's bodily urge. The second one, what we find in the very last stanza, is the hunger of stomach. So one hunger originating from flesh, another originating from poverty. Sorry, I cannot point to this because this is quite difficult for me to hold the camera with just one hand, so I'm just dropping the pen here. So as I was saying, that this poem in a way questions the conventional values and morality. One is left to think whether the father did a wrong thing or the right thing, as he was merely trying to meet his both ends meal, and for that he has to kill his conscience. But at the very time, this very utterance pricks the conscience of the society too. Starvation in a way overpowers father's morality, his hesitation to, pimp his daughter. Okay. Now look at the very first line. The flesh was heavy on my back. The flesh is suggestive of carnal desire. Now, heavy on my back, literally it might mean that something heavy, a kind of a heavy burden on his back, but figuratively it suggests that he was ridden with guilt. It was quite hard to believe that he has come for this to this fisherman, and this might be a guilt that seems to haunt the poet from the very beginning and throughout this poem. The very next line, "Will you have her?" Carelessly trailing his nets and his nerves. Now, "Will you have her?" This is very much shocking because in a very matter of fact way, the father is talking deals. Okay. and carelessly this is again trailing his nets and his nerves, so he is doing his day-to-day works, and this is also symbolical that he is trailing nets for customers, যেটাকে আমরা বলি ওই কাস্টমারদের জন্য ভাত পাতা এরকম একটা ব্যাপার, হ্যাঁ। And as though his words sanctified the purpose with which he faced himself. Now, sanctified the purpose, this again points to the conventional morality, because the poet, the narrator is trying to get rid of the guilt, because this act is in a way sanctifying, because he is helping people earn their meal. Okay, now in the next stanza, look at this line: my mind thumping in the flesh's sling. This is another imagery. So he, as I said, that the poet is the narrator is guilt-ridden, so his mind is throbbing and the skin is trying to support it like a sling or a bandage. So this is quite brilliant, you see. And hope lay perhaps in burning the house I lived in. Silence gripped my sleeves. Now silence is concretized in this poem. Silence is very much important a thing in this poem, as we found that the narrator is silently following the fisherman when he tells him to follow him, where the fisherman is leading the narrator to his lean-to, and at the very end of the poem we would also find that the daughter is also very silent. Okay, she doesn't resist, she's quite indifferent, so she is she is accepting the very fact. So silence is another major factor in this poem. Now let us come to the third stanza. In the flickering dark his lean-to opened like a wound. This is my most favorite. Lean-to opened like a wound. Lean-to is the shack where the boatman stays, মাঝিরা যেই শ্যাকে থাকে না, এটা টেন্টের মতন, দ্যাট ইজ lean-to, and lean-to that is opening like a wound. So this is a very beautiful imagery. আমার একটা শর্ট ভিডিওতে আমি এটা ইউজও করেছি, হ্যাঁ, like a wound. Now wound suggests that they have a very poor condition, a torn out lean-to. Okay, so I told you that he uses so many literary devices, and imagery গুলো খুব সুন্দর, এবং মহাপাত্রের imagery is এটা অন্য ইমাজিসদের থেকে একদম অন্যরকম, বিকজ অন্য ইমাজিসরা যেটা করেন আর কি, তারা এজরা পাউন্ড যেটা বলেছে যে শুধু ইমেজারি ব্যবহার করা হবে, কোনো অ্যাডজেক্টিভ ইউজ করা হবে না, হ্যাঁ, বা কোনো সুপারফ্লুয়াস ওয়ার্ড ইউজ করবো না, দ্যাট ডাজেন্ট যেটা দরকার নেই, বাট জয়ন্ত মহাপাত্র কনস্ট্যান্টলি সেটা করে, হ্যাঁ, অ্যান্ড দ্যাট মেক্স হিম কুল. Okay, that is his individuality, that in a moment he is using an imagery and in the next moment he is commenting on that, so that is quite cool. Now look at the fourth line of the third stanza. An oil lamp played the hours bunched to the walls. So the oil lamp is hung in the wall. It is as if permanently oil lamp ta okhane gethe ache. It suggests that time lean-to এর ভেতরে time is standing still, so there is no progression. So another this is again suggestive of the poverty, and and over the sticky suit crossed the space of my mind. Okay, this is again suit metaphorical darkness or brooding gloominess that pervades the poem. Okay, now in the very I heard him say, my daughter, she's just turned 15. Okay, so this poem gives a quite a few shock. Okay, your bus leaves at 9, so he is in a way saying that you are you can now have my daughter. Okay, now warm like legs, this is suggestive of the malnourished legs, because the girl is so young. And it is this very last stanza where the poet realizes the other kind of hunger that happens within the stomach, fish slithering inside, like a churning movement in the stomach. And at the same time, it is also it can be seen as a phallic symbol too. Okay, and we would find that the daughter is acting in a very mechanical way, as if she doesn't have any say on this. She's cold as rubber because the situation has turned her indifferent. She doesn't have much to say. She has this indifference, inaction, incapable of resistance. So she has, in a way, accepted all the things. So no choice given to the girl. And as I'm talking with my assumed listeners, and you can see that this is a one way communication that we are resorting to for this lockdown. You might have some queries and some questions regarding the topic. For that, you have my number. You can call me, you can write to me, you can WhatsApp me, and I would be happy to answer your questions.